All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Come on in and grab a seat. Don't be shy. Come on up. My name's Scott Feinberg. I'm with the Hollywood Reporter, and that's a good reminder for me to just ask if you can please silence your phones. We're gonna have a fun conversation. You're not gonna want to have distractions, and so let me begin by introducing our guests. I'm very happy to have had the opportunity to be here in Karlovy Vary and particularly to see these three films. So our first guest is a Polish director who studied with Andrzej Wajda, Agnieszka Holland, Wojciech Marzenski at the Andrzej Wajda Master School of Film Directing. Started out making shorts, episodic television, and documentaries, then made her feature debut with The Lure, a film about mermaid sisters who come on land and cause all sorts of trouble, which won a special jury prize at this year's Sundance Film Festival for unique vision and design. Please welcome Agnieszka Smoczyńska. Our second guest is a Turkish director and screenwriter responsible for award-winning shorts, music videos, and features. Tollbooth, his 2010 feature debut, screened at numerous festivals, winning 13 awards, including Best First Film at Turkey's major film festival, Golden Orange. His second feature, Ivy, a film about a crew of 6 men whose ship gets stuck in purgatory, I guess you could say, premiered at 2015's Sundance Film Festival, also played here at Karlovy Vary, en route to more than 20 awards. Please welcome Tolga Karaçelik. And last but not least, our third guest is a Finnish director and screenwriter who graduated in 2014 from Aalto University School of Arts, Design and Architecture, and whose graduation film, The Painting Sellers, was nominated for 5 Finnish Film Academy Awards, including Best Film, and won first prize in Cinefondazione at the Cannes Film Festival in 2010. His first feature, The Happiest Day in the Life of Olli Mäki, a film about a Finnish contender for the 1962 World Featherweight title, premiered at this year's Cannes Film Festival, where it won the Uncertain Regards section. Please welcome Juho Kuosmanen. So just to begin with, I'm just going to ask each of you if you can share why you decided to pursue a career in film. What was there a film or a person or a moment? What was the original, catalytic event? And maybe, Juho, we can start with you. And if I'm mispronouncing anything, please tell me. I don't want to do it for an hour and a half. Is Juho or Juho or?
Juho.
Juho.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And my background, I was more interested about theater when I was young, because theater is much more stronger than cinema in Finland. And in my hometown, we could see quite good theater plays and very bad films. So, yeah, I actually didn't think of film directing at all, because I thought somehow it's very distant. I didn't feel it like it would be even possible. But then I didn't get to theater schools, but I got into film school. So I think that was it changed my plans.
Yeah.
But I'm doing both, so it's nice.
Oh, you continue to do theater as well?
Yeah.
That's great. Agnieszka?
When I was young, I wanted to be a clown or a magician. And I think the film director joined these two occupations. I went to secondary school and I went to film class. And it was great. Of course, it wasn't on purpose. I wanted, as you, work in a theater. But I went to a film class, and we have there also cinema history. So I know the Antonioni, Bergman, Fellini, also Kieślowski, with many famous writers. And it was great for me when I was 14, 15. Then I knew that I want to be director. Of course, my main concern was if I'm a girl, if I can be a director. But yes, I went to a film school, and it's great for me. It's the best occupation I could have. I'm really happy.
Tolga.
I never thought of becoming a film director. I'm not one of those guys like I shoot my first 8mm film when I was 6 years old. It's not my story. I finished law school, and by all my life I was writing stories, and I was always obsessed with writing and literature. And I always wanted to be. I always thought that I would want to continue my life as a poet, actually. And after, by luck, getting into this shooting process of my first film, I fell in love with lighting first, and what good things you can do with lighting. So I fell in love with lighting, and I started watching films because of lighting, like trying to figure out where the main light is, where the key light, where the grip is, fill light is. And then I realized that what I can do with the words, I can do it with imagery easier and in a more democratic way and a more open way. So instead of writing, I decided to fall in love with shooting films. And then cinema came into my life.
And I think it's true that for each of you, short films came first, right? And how important is that to, I guess Tolga, Ivy was your second feature. For you guys, this was you're on the circuit now with your feature debut. How important was it, how important was the background in shorts when you now had to make your first features? Yeah, whoever, yeah.
Well, shorts are totally different means of making film, so I don't see it as a step to feature film. Mm-hmm. So I still want to shoot shorts. I'm shooting short most probably this year. I have 2 scripts that I had written, and I love shorts because it's the rhythm is much more important, and you learn how to deal with your camera, how to tell your story. Especially the best thing about shooting short is you can edit yourself, and I think editing is one of the key elements that teaches you what to shoot and how to shoot. So short is a process by itself, not a bridge to the future, but it's another thing which I love, actually.
For me, shorts were crucial to make my first debut, because when I was working on shorts, I think they are like anecdotes. It's another kind of thinking for me. Then I went to TV and I made some TV stuff, mainly soap opera, and I was so, exhausted after 1 year and 2 years. And I was sitting on the plane, on a set, and I remember when I was thinking, oh my God, if they could just sing in this moment or just to eat each other or something, horrible happened. And that's why I decided to make horror and musical in both my first film. And in Poland, we have Krzysztof Kieślowski, the master. And because of him, I think many Polish films are really infected by him, and it's not good because everybody pretends to be Kieślowski, nobody will be. And I had to my previous shorts were like Kieślowski, of course, and I decided to kill my Kieślowski inside me. And and I think when I was shooting shorts, I was looking for my own language. But I know that because of Master Kieślowski and another, Holland and another directors from Poland, and I remember that everybody thought that I'm crazy because Agnieszka, your shorts were so good, and you now decide to make so crazy story, and it's great that I could kill my masters.
For me, I think I'm not at the moment thinking about making shorts, because for me the form is quite hard. It was hard to say something in a so short way, but and then when I was in the festivals, I was always I loved the animation. I thought, okay, if I would like to make short, it would need to be an animation, but I can't make animation. So, but even though I also think it's totally different kind of making, but the process is still the same. And we did just short films in school. I think that it was nice to learn how it goes. Like the process is always the same with the doubts and the wins, and And I actually had this kind of step-by-step thing that I made shorts, then half an hour, then 1 hour length film, and this is 1.5. So next one will be then 2 hours, I think.
So, talking about your specific, most recent films, Ivy and Lure and Happiest of Olli Mäki in the Life of Olli Mäki, we got a little idea from Agnieszka about why you came to your idea, but let's go a little more in depth. So, starting with Agnieszka, can you explain what is the actual translation of your Polish title and something to do with dancings, right? And maybe not, I don't know. I did not, prior to this, know what dancings were and why maybe you set the movie where you did. So can you just talk about what's the literal translation and what was the personal reason for that?
A friend of mine who is a scriptwriter, he told me that he has a great idea to make a film with me, and he has already the title, Córki Dancingu, and that's what he had. Córki Dancingu, it means the daughters of dancing club, something like this. And he told me that his very close friends has music band, and their parents play music in a dancing club. And I was really, very happy because my mom ran such a restaurant when I was a child. The Lure is set in a dancing club restaurant, and there are 2 little girls who grew up in this place. And he told me that he would love to make the film about them. And of course I agreed because of my childhood. But one of the girls told that from this music band that is too close, too intimate for her to make such a movie. And we thought that it would collapse our whole project. But my scriptwriter, he told that, okay, let's make them mermaids. Because mermaids is like a metaphor of coming of age. So it was so absurd for us. And okay, let's make them mermaids. And afterwards, because at the very beginning we wanted to tell normal psychological drama, but because they are mermaids, they impose the whole genre. So musical because they sing, horror because they devour people. And it's developed like this. And we are working together from the title to the ending.
That's great. Yeah. And just a quick follow-up. I don't know if you know about or if you've seen this other movie this year called The Lobster, but it's actually, they made me think of each other because they create their movies with these rules of a world where humans and non-humans interact, and if you just, maybe as a short, it would seem crazy, but because you're able to develop it as much as you do in a feature, by the time after a little while, people just completely accept the rules. And I thought it's an amazing thing to have, just that the audience will go along with it. You really create a detailed world there. Tolga, why were you interested in a story that is on the sea that, I don't know, I mean, is there any personal reason that you set it there? Was there a way that you could get a sense of what that would be like firsthand?
Yeah, the first thing that I was thinking while I was writing the line was important for me. It's always sometimes a concept or a line, a film that goes and starts shaping around it. So for some time in my country, I was feeling the authority and the kind of like, because of the political also tension, etc. I was thinking too much about the hierarchy and also the because of this political situation, the power. I was, and then I saw this ship. Ship is the same same thing with hierarchy. So the main line of my film was what the means of the top of the hierarchy uses to continue its status quo when it's not needed anymore. So in my movie, there is a ship that's not moving. So you basically, what do you do with the captain is the question that I asked. So, and everything started shaping around it and the characters. So I had to deal with this because I was feeling disturbed by how I felt. So it was kind of like my coming back to it.
And just to make sure that you got the details of what life on a cargo ship is like.
Yeah, I usually work before I read. For example, in my toll booth first film, I was in the toll booth area for a month. I worked as a toll booth guy to understand how they feel. And with IV, I was on the ships doing voyages and writing while I was doing and working on the ships. So
These are long trips, right?
some of them were long, some of them were short. I'm a method writer, I can say. So this is how I can create. I have to do this stuff.
Right. Juho, people hear black and white boxing movie and they immediately think Raging Bull, but I actually think the movies that your film reminded me more about, maybe the pacing and the look and all of it, was, and we should note, it was in 16 millimeter black and white. The films that it made me think of more were the Golden Age boxing movies, the like Champion and Body and Soul and some of those. And I just wonder for you, because boxing movies have been done to death, you know, were there ones that, you know, were you especially interested in boxing, and were there boxing movies that did influence you more than others?
I think when we were writing this thing, when we applied to Torino Film Lab, and the Matthew Darras from Torino Film Lab, he said, just hearing the setup of the film, he said, you're making a remake of Walkover from Skolimowski. Yeah. And I haven't seen that film then before then, but I ordered it straight away. And we watched lots of. I watched lots of boxing films. My cinematographer, he didn't want to watch any, and maybe there are some I could say maybe Setup, Robert Weiss, and also in a way sporting film, The Loneliness of a Long Distance Runner, the English film. But I think the most references that we had were documentaries from that age, like beginning of 60s.
And maybe a book as well? Did I hear there was a Joyce Carol Oates? Yes,
that was I watched a lot of boxing films, and I wanted to change the subject. And my DOP agreed, and my producer agreed, and but nobody of us didn't want to make in the first place a period piece and not a boxing film. But I think after reading Joyce Carol Oates' book on boxing was very, very crucial, because then I thought, okay, this is. It was so nicely written. You could actually start enjoying. You get the license to enjoy boxing, just as boxing, and that was crucial. Just for the idea and just for thinking about this.
And we should note that Olli Mäki, the title character, is a real person who went through all the things that your film's talking about. Was he somebody that you knew about growing up, or when did he first cross your radar?
He's from the same town that I am, and it's not a big town, so everybody knows him still. But it's not that famous anymore in like people. My friends don't know him. But I think the generation of my parents, he's quite well known. And I met him personally in 2011. And I was writing, I had 2 scripts that I was developing. And then after meeting him, it was a theater premiere, and actually the actor Jarkko Lahti, who plays Olli Mäki, was also there. And then I took a picture out of them. And I think he was a very interesting character, because there's a big contrast between him and his person and his sport. And in that premiere, I actually heard this story about, because they were talking about this fight with other guys, and all the others expected that this must have been, I have to spoil the ending, but he loses the fight. But it's that it was the like the most humiliating moment of his life, and he said, no, it was the happiest day in my life. And we were laughing at this with this Jarkko, and we were of course already fan of his, like since childhood. So
that's great. Now I want to talk about financing for all of you guys, because any movie that's not a comic book movie or a remake or a sequel or an adaptation, it's getting harder and harder to make, certainly in America, and I get the sense all around the world. And so, Agnieszka, when you go to somebody with this idea of a movie about mermaids that will eat your larynx and do all this stuff, it sounds, I mean, it turned out great, but on paper or in a pitch, it sounds a little out there. And so I just wonder, how did that go when you were trying to raise money for this?
Yeah, the beginning was really hard because everybody reacted like you said. And I found a producer after a half a year, almost 1 year. But in Poland we have Polish Film Institute, and it really helped us, especially young directors, because they really support debuts. You have extra points that when you are debutant, and also when your previous shorts were awarded. And Polish Film Institute supports almost 70% of your first film, so it's great. My film was quite expensive because we have 1.3, the whole budget, dollars. But you can see after 10 years when Polish Film Institute that many Polish first films are around the world. Here are The Waves by Grzegorz Zariczny, but also Tomasz Wasilewski, also many young directors who are just traveling with their first films. Also, we got money from national television and from the distributor. Now the political situation in Poland has changed, and I hope it doesn't, but I am afraid it will touch us as directors, because the Polish government wants us to make, another films, not about mermaids, but about soldiers. And,
you think they want about history?
History, yes.
Tolga, a single location, story that takes place over 5 months, no resolution that's tied in a bow, very clear.
Yeah. 6 men in one boat.
Six men in one boat.
It was even boring shooting.
Right. So it doesn't, again, on paper, and it's just proof that people need to have a little imagination, but on paper, that can't have been an easy sell.
Definitely not. And also for the sales afterwards, it was not. Mm-hmm. But I didn't promise anyone that it will sell a lot. The thing was, like, it's always, the first film was also about a tollbooth guy in one location, which was like 2 meters square. So for me, it was a huge difference, a big boat now, not 2 meters squares. But still, I was so stressed about how I was going to be financing this. And while you were saying, I thought of becoming Polish, actually, then you said in the last line. Because I don't know how it will be in my third film also, which will be, and I will talk later maybe about it, but like, at the end, I am also the producer of both films with other people, so I had to find creative ways to be able to shoot this. I can say it right now, like I shot this with the cash of, with the cash of $150,000 US only. So I had to shoot it in 19 days. So at the end, I told myself, why are you killing yourself with this money and money and money? Like, what do you need? You need one camera and you need actors. And you need to find the ship. And basically, I looked at the bank records of trying to find out which ships are for sale. And I thought that I pretended like I was the buyer. So I looked at the ships that I own lien. The bank had possessed, so the owner doesn't care about what you do on it, but he's still the owner. So I had to smile at to lots of ship owners, and I was like, "Can I shoot in your ship, etc., etc. So one of them said yes. So we were basically fishing for the catering actually, while we were shooting, and yeah, I had to shoot it in 19 days. So
And you didn't. There's no government help for financing.
no, there is government
Yeah.
fund, but like it's not that much.
Yeah.
It was not that much actually, but basically I shot it with that. Like whatever I got, I shot it with. So and little bits investors over there and whom I could trick into. So that's basically how we shot it. And like the situation in your country also, the Ministry of Culture's funding is so important in our, and I think this is the reason that you see more and more for quite some time Turkish directors here in Cannes, in Berlin, and in big festivals. But right now the situation is also changing in Turkey. For example, last year I think we only had one, session, which we usually have 2, 3, or 4, and we don't know which when it's going to be the next session. So, and the last one also, what they announced was more nationalist, and films were more also more popular cinema was also being pushed, and I don't know how it will be, but I know that I will continue shooting somehow.
And are you? I guess before I even ask Juho about the financing of his film, are you guys adamant about continuing to shoot in your countries, or how is there a part of you that would like to go and make your next movies in the U.S. or in UK or somewhere else? How important is it to you to continue to shoot in Poland, in Turkey, in Finland?
It's a hard topic because of the political situation in Poland. But of course, it depends on the story and on the character. I have 3 projects. One is in Polish, but the next are in English because the story is in English. And yeah, I think we are open because borders are still open. We'll see what will happen, in these years.
Yeah. Okay, so Juho, your story, it's complicated in the sense that I imagine the Finland government would. It's hard to classify Olli Mäki, right? Because he was a national hero during the run-up to this event, and then as your film and you've revealed, it doesn't quite pan out for him. So I don't know how they feel about we must tell this story. Is he still regarded as a national hero, and did that make the government more supportive of a film about him, or was there not much government help?
We got also funding from the Finnish Film Foundation and then National Broadcast Company, and but yeah, they liked the idea, or at least the TV company liked the idea, and they already said that they will take it. So the Film Foundation, they were like almost forced to give their share as well. But money from outside, because we also needed like crop production money, and if you go and tell that we have a Finnish boxing film period piece, it was also like, okay, it's not our stuff.
Not the sexiest topic.
No,
yeah.
And the working title in the beginning was boxer,
Yeah.
so that was like totally like turn off
Right.
for everyone. But I think it helped the shorts that we made. I think that was more that they could trust this film, even though they didn't quite like the script. So I'm happy that they were still supporting.
Right. All right, let's talk about your collaborators on these, because obviously at least a handful of them, if you swap them out, the whole thing might have fallen apart. It might have been different. There were, Agnieszka, I want to ask you about your 2 leading ladies, your 2 mermaids, because you had to have people that were willing to go all in with your vision. I mean, it's vulnerable parts that are required here. You have to sing, you have to be nude, you have to do all kinds of stuff. And so where did you find these two young actresses that were not only willing to do that, but were capable of doing it very, very well?
The casting was really long. It takes me 1 year, and I had to do by myself because my producer, he just started the production 2 weeks before the film setting, so you can imagine how it looked like. And we are looking for, you know, at very beginning I started to look for 16, 17 years old girls, but they were too young. When I read the script, I found one girl, she was great. But when she read the script, it was too hard for her because this stuff, you know, you can imagine because it's not a mermaid like you can see in Disney movies. Mm-hmm. It's not Ariel. She's rather from Homer. So for them it was not too much. And I started to, I think we saw almost 2,000 girls.
Wow.
With my cast director, Żywia. And we found these two girls in school, at school, theater school. Michalina, when she read the script, she wanted to join us from the very beginning, the golden, the black girl. She's also known here from Olga Hepnarowa. And she really wanted to make, because she told that her grandma was a mermaid and something like that stuff. And she started to sing during the casting, and she really seduced us. But I asked her to wait for 1 year, and she was really like, you know, she was fighting. I remember that she was stars during this casting. She was acting in the Olga Hepnarowa, and she was in a very strange mood during this time. And she came to our casting several times. And after that, I found also Marta, and she started to sing. That's what you told. And we had it was not only the casting, but we have also workshop, 2 months workshop, because I wanted to work with them just to know who modern mermaid is. And it was a process. I didn't know when I was working with the scriptwriter, with Robert Polesso. We just working on the scenes, on some, you know, songs, and also it was the whole process, and the casting was like rehearsals.
And I just have to say, so the characters are silver and gold, and I was walking yesterday to get food in town, and there's a jewelry store. I don't know if you saw, I took a picture, I'll show you after. Silver and gold, where it's obviously those are things that people sell, but it was just funny because I just seen the film and it was like not gold and silver, it was so. Anyway, moving on. So Tolga, with yours, it's really an ensemble. You've got, it's not one, there's not one or even 2 characters who it depends on. Everybody has to really pull their weight here, and I wonder, we talked a little bit that there's one guy that sort of, and I'm not saying this in a mean way, but he kind of looks like Frankenstein, who you would have found, you know, there's a story how you found him, to just the whole group of these 6. What was the process of arriving at that group?
Well, I also write my scripts, and so while I'm writing, I sometimes have some actors in my mind. Yeah. And in the first one, it was Serkan Ercan, who played the Tollwood guy. I was literally writing, thinking about him. And in this one, the only character that I had in my mind was the main Cenk character, Nadir Sarabajak. I think he's a great actor. The only reason that you don't know him is maybe he didn't do in any foreign language films, because he's really brilliant, and he's an old friend of me. Like, I think we first shot something together 11 years ago.
Wow.
So it was a music video for this group called Gevende that took place in Sulukle, and by luck we had him, and well, I fell in love with him, to be honest with you. Like, his way of acting, he's so natural. Then in my last short that I shot, it was 2008. We also collaborated. Then in Toll Booth, there was a small, but he made it a big role. And here I was writing for him. He's like the nicest person that you can see on earth. He doesn't drink alcohol. He doesn't do anything. But like he's playing this drug addict, mean person. He would be fighting with me if I say mean because he loves his character. But he has this ups and downs and character. So he was in my mind while I was writing. Because I wanted this character to be loud, and he doesn't need to do anything. If we just put him over there, he doesn't speak maybe a good English, but you would love him without just looking at him. He has that positive vibe always. And other than that, the other people, for me, while I was writing, Ismail was so important because he was the balance and he was the counterside and the shadow of the captain. So he had to be really good. And with me, it's strange. I have to know the actor before even making a reading or rehearsal or auditioning. Like sometimes I do auditioning for like 200 people. Sometimes I just sit and talk with him and I say, you have the role. And Ismail was chosen like that. Kadir Çermik is his name. And I just talked with him in the auditioning room and I said, you are it. And I had another person also for another role, for Nadir's role. Then this guy came, Özgür Emre Yıldırım. He just got the role at the audition. So it changes for me. Sometimes I have it in my mind, but sometimes I just have to sit down and talk, and that's enough.
And the captain? What was
Captain came in the last minute. Actually, I was with that age range. It's really hard to cast because that age range is too much from theater. Old school theater, so loud and gestures, and also when actors are in that age in my country, usually sometimes they either succeeded and known, so they have ego, or couldn't succeed, and so they have again ego. So that is a hard age to work with, especially if you're younger than them. And so Osman Alkaş came in the last minute actually, and I really liked that side of him also, like the loudness and the way the big movements in the of the body, and his body language had to be totally different than the others because he was from another class. So I chose him because of this.
Great. I love the scene where he's berating them on the deck. He was terrific.
From Joseph Conrad.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about a situation where you had 2 people that had to work, then you had 6. Now you've got with Juho a guy whose name there's a guy whose name is in the title. It's one. Not that everybody else isn't great, but this guy, your movie doesn't work if Olli Mäki is not great. So, what was your? Do you have a history with Jarkko, or how did Because, and also, does he have a history with boxing? This is a guy that's playing a guy who's becoming a great boxer, and we're seeing him transform on camera. What's your history with him, and what's his history with that?
Well, we have a very long history. We are from the same street, and Jarkko is 1 year older than me, and I think I was at the first level of my school, and we came back from school, and I took a snowball and threw it at him, and he took his bicycle pump and threw it at me. And then we were not that close friends like during the childhood, but I was thinking about this like more than 20 years, and then I made a short film called The Citizens, and he was graduated from theater school, and I said, okay, there's this, I have a role for you, and there's also, there was a fight scene with a tall, much bigger guy than him, and I wanted them to have an actual fight, and he said, you are thinking about that bicycle pump thing, that this is your revenge, and then but it was not enough, so I had to make another one.
Right, get him beat up some more.
Yeah. And actually he started his very dedicated actors. So if you say, you have to be careful. If you say something, an idea, he's immediately starting to work on it. And it happened with this as well, that he said it was 2011 I mentioned about this film. And he immediately started boxing. And he took 2 fights as well. And I think we were thinking that we will shoot it in 2 years or something, but it took 5 years since then. So he had lots of time to train, which was good, because before I used amateur actors mostly because I liked the idea that they have a profession or something, but they are the real characters. And this I was also thinking about real boxer, but because I knew that he will be almost in every scene that we will have, so he has to be also a good actor, and he also has to be very small.
Right,
so there was too many things. We didn't have that much, lots of choose.
So let's, for each of you, if there was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome while you were doing this. I was thinking with Agnieszka that visually, I mean, you had this idea of what you had to do, but you got to put mermaid tails on these people and make them look believable, like, you know, not like a, you know, just a school drama. You've got to have all kinds of gore. Was the visual aspect the hardest, or was there something else?
I think it was to find a new language for this film, because it was a genre hybrid, and for me the most hard was how to combine these two genres, like musical and horror, and not to make a Rocky Horror Picture Show, because, you know, it's a different. I like it, but it's completely different, and I knew that I don't find it when I was shooting, but I couldn't think about it because it's so many obstacles was during, you know, the shooting and working on it. And when we were working on sound design, I discovered that sound design could catch the whole genre, that the sound design just make this film, just put the new convention. And this was the most important for me, that the film is like one thing, not too many things in one piece. And I think this was, of course, when I was working before, when I was working on script, I thought it will be fishtails, long, ugly fishtails, and everybody asked me a question, okay, Aga, but how you make these fishtails? And but yes, when we made fishtails, I knew that it's not finished yet.
Tolga, we were talking again that this unfolds over 5 months, I think, something like that. Is just pacing and making that, communicating that much time is passing and the effect that that's having on these characters, was that a major thing for you? Also related to that, I guess I'd be curious to know for all of you, how much is shot in sequence? When you're doing a boxing thing, we're seeing a guy's body change. With your characters, Agnieszka, it's just, you know, they're psychologically changing a lot over the course. And here, 5 months of psychological damage is happening and changes and all that. So, what was pacing a major thing for you?
Well, I believe that the biggest thing for me, one of the biggest concerns that I have, maybe not not the biggest concern, but one of the biggest concerns for me is that I want my movies to be watchable. Like for me, putting my craft into it is like I'm obsessed with the rhythm and the pace because of maybe I'm from poetry, and like it's also, that's why I like shorts also. You can feel the rhythm of it, units, and for me that rhythm is done. But first of all, the way you tell the story, exactly, mathematics and engineering of the film, and plus how you create your characters also, because the way that the characters talk, the characters move are their own rhythms, and rhythm is what makes time for me. And with time you can be sincere or not in a movie. That's what I believe. and with the rhythm, the sincerity of the characters, and the rhythm of the film, if they're united, then you have characters that you remember, and the characters that you remember makes you remember the film or you like the film. So that takes me from pace to the love of the actors that I work with. So for me also the actors are from that bridge, from that tunnel. The reason that I love actors and working with actors is because of this. The biggest concern for me while I was shooting it was not the pace, because I started dealing with it while I'm writing it. But the biggest concern for me was I'm entering into this other world, a totally different world, and I want to tell the story of that world, which is shipping world is so different. They speak different, they have different hierarchies, and they have different way of thinking. So giving that world and not becoming didactic at the same time. So showing a world that's totally different and getting the audience into that world and not becoming like, okay, this is this and this is that. They do behave because of this is this. And all the shipping people who watch this film thinks that it's 100% real. So that was one of the biggest concerns. And the other concern was, of course, shooting in one location, which I can say that I cheated a little bit because it is a huge ship. So every corner is different. It has this different feeling every corner, but like trying to combine the mood of that scene with that outlook. And I enjoyed shooting in this one location where everything is handmade, man-made. So you don't see the sea, you only see the sky a little bit, and everything is man-made. So that's also what I liked, but it was challenging then.
Juho, we talked about the fact that you wanted to do black and white, but I guess I'd like to hear why that was important to you, but also what the trade-off is, because in order to get the proper film stock and all of that, I think you had to give up some things like being able to watch dailies, I would imagine, and just because it's got to get to you where you were shooting it. So talk about why that was important and how it impacted the process.
Yeah, well, first of all, we were not like in the beginning thinking about black and white film, but then we tested lots of film material and also digital formats. And I think the best solution was that when we shot with color reversal film, and then it looked like 70s. It has a 70s tone because it's also old material in a way. They haven't been refining that material since I don't know when. But then when we took the colors out of this stock, we felt okay. It has to be black and white, and now it feels like 60s, and it was 2 months before the shooting, so we had almost the whole budget, but nobody didn't know that we are going to make it black and white. So our producer had to make these annoying phone calls, and luckily we were, I think, because of Ida and lots quite Tabu and lots of good black and white films that has been also like some kind of box office hits. It helped us. Nobody didn't care. It was fine for TVs and
I mean that was, and I guess you couldn't though.
The stock.
Yeah.
It was. We had to. Yeah, we end up using, because then when we find out that it has to be black and white, we tested black and white materials and end up using this most expensive, most bad quality black and white color reversal, and then we had to order everything from Europe, everything from the States, and I'm not sure if it's true, but the guy who was dealing the film, he said that Kodak asked that now you have to say the exact amount because they have to make it some more and then they will not make it anymore. so you have to be precise. So it was a bit difficult to get, and also stressful to shoot because the first dailies or what you call dailies, we got like 2.5 weeks after the first day of shooting. So it was terrible.
Jeez.
Yeah, and because the stock is also like it very high contrasted, very not easy to control. So
But
it's terrifying.
On the good side is that it seems like there's renewed interest in black and white. There was Ida 2 years ago. This year, Embrace of the Serpent got nominated with this black and white, the Colombian film. I think there's been others that are, but this is one of the most visually beautiful that I can remember. It's terrific. So, and it really does look like a movie from the 60s, which I know is what you were going for. Or
Yeah, I think that helped us to achieve the 60s mood. The stock was just right because we didn't want to underline the period with props and things, because then you are like all the time just focusing on wrong things. So we felt that with this film stock we were very free to move the camera and don't have to underline the decade that it is already there.
last two topics that I want to bring up, and then we're going to take any questions you might have in the audience. But let's talk about the importance of film festivals in terms of getting a film out to the world, getting a distributor, getting interest in your next film, all of that. Agnieszka, this started at, actually it was released in Poland before Sundance, right? And so you go to Sundance, you get this special jury prize. You were saying earlier that the time at Sundance was really special. Now there's been like an avalanche of film festivals since then. What do you make of the whole film festival circuit?
Yeah, as you told, the festivals, I think it's the most important for directors, for especially for young. And Sundance for us, it was huge experience. It was great because, as we told before, that they concentrate on directors and how they want to develop, because they don't. Of course, they talk with you about your movie which you just made, but about your next project. And it really helped me, to think in another way. Then many festivals comes to us, but after 10 I collapsed. And now I want to just work on next project. And of course it helped me. The Sundance helped me very much because many people from US, they came, and the film will be released in the US also, and maybe my next project will be also in US. We will see. And I think it also helped to to get money for next film. Yeah, and this is the film which I can develop, but also the meeting with audience is great because you get so great feedback from people who watch the film, and you can talk with them. Also, I like when I watching the film and I feel the energy in the audience. And I would love to make such screening that you can change your movie during the screening. It would be great. That sometimes the energy is another. The audience goes like in a theater, yes? Then actors can play in another way. And I think it would be great if you could just stay and to have another scenes or something like right. You can make the film livable,
That's great. And AFI Fest is a big deal. That's where it's at the American premiere, or will it be maybe before?
Yeah. Yes, we are waiting for AFI in Los Angeles. Yes. That's
great.
Yes.
Tolga,
but it also was in Seattle Film Festival.
Okay, cool. So and of course Sundance. So, but that's a big festival too. Tolga, 30. Your film went through this whole cycle a year ago. I think there were 30 festivals in total, something like that. Maybe more.
Yeah.
So what was the most valuable part of the whole circuit?
Well, what I like about festivals is we grow with the festival. And like, for example, with Karlovy, my first relationship started with Toll Booth. And then Ivy was here in the Works in Progress section. And Ivy also was here again in Karlovy in the East-West competition. So there are some festivals that you feel connected with. It's for me really this, and also Sundance is Karlovy and Sundance are two festivals that I really find myself, because with Sundance we've been talking to each other since Toll Booth, since the before making of so the Toll Booth. So, for example, John Lane knew the script of Toll Booth. He knows script of my next film, Butterflies, still. So it's like also Karel also we talk. So it's like festival is, first of all, in that sense, is kind of like a protective barrier around us. And sometimes we do have doubts about what we are doing. Sometimes even before to get an idea with the festival, you have that relationship. Plus, for example, here we start talking with Aga about our next movies and like stuff like that, and we get excited about each other's stuff that we are gonna do. So it has also those. That's also festivals. Plus, actually, I should add to what you said. The movies change in festival to festival. Although it's the same film that you watch, the audience that you watch with changes the film. Sometimes I hate the film. Like sometimes I say, "Wow, this is really a good film," and it changes because of the electricity of the audience that is watching it. For example, I don't want to give examples, but so festivals are good for that. Plus, about distribution stuff like that, it's not my. I don't think about this as a festivals, and I don't don't approach to any distributors or try to run away from them, which is easy for me if you shot a film with 6 men only. Yeah? And so those sides, of course, it also gives you a chance, but mainly the audience and the reaction is the most important thing, and also the protective barrier that I feel in some of the festivals.
Juho, to have your first feature accepted at Cannes, and not only that, but then win Un Certain Regard, which is a big deal. What was that whole way, to have your movie start that way? What did that mean to you?
Well, we'll see because it was just a few weeks ago, but I think it will have a quite nice festival circuit after this, and also it helps selling the film. It helps selling a black and white Finnish boxing film, which would be like impossible without the festivals. But and I agree. It's I haven't been yet in that many festivals. This is my third one, like second one after Cannes, and but like the situation in Finland, I think we are totally depending on festivals. The festivals are the ones that you can see, like new European cinema that you don't see in a normal theater anymore. And because all the cinema clubs are disappearing, so I think the festivals are there to replace this need of diversity of cinema.
Last thing for me is, what is it that you want the legacy of these particular films to be? I mean, and I want to actually this time start with you, Juho. You have living people who the film was based on, and who you told me earlier. I loved learning this. I don't know if you saw this movie yesterday, but the final, if you didn't, cover your ears, but the final scene, we see the cameo of the real Olli Mäki and his wife. So what does it mean to have them be able to see the movie, and just, what's your takeaway on the whole experience with this particular movie?
I was very relieved that they liked, or Raija said that she really liked the film. The only thing that she had to say about the script was that she wasn't smoking in the 60s, and then she hoped that it will be a heartwarming film, and I think that was a good advice as well. But it helped that they were such a nice couple and easy to work with, and they helped us a lot. So I think it made me also helped me to really make a film that this couple, the main couple in my film, would be also like lovable and nice.
Agnieszka, just the thing that you'll remember most about this movie? Maybe you'll work with some people again from it, or it made you want to do something or not want to ever do something again. What's the legacy for you?
I think the most important for me is to have this group of people which I work with, and we want to work together on our next project. And what is really great that we were so close to each other, not only with actors, but only with the scriptwriter, composers, because I felt that this is our film. And it was great from the beginning, and that not only because I remember when Vaida said to us, "Okay, remember if the film is good, the crew tells you it's our film. If the film is not good, crew says you it's your film." And it was great that the crew told me it's our film, even if there is something worse, And it was disasters on the set, and it was great. And I think now we are really close to each other.
And Tolga, so you already have this year of having it, been out in the world and all of that. Has it paved the way for Butterflies or other things? Like, is this directly impacted things already for you?
Well, I always write like 2 or 3 things at the same time, and take notes. Let's say not writing directly, but like I was taking notes about this film while I was shooting Tollbooth also. So this walking around and like festival to festival is really slowing me, not helping me that much, to be honest with you. And I think I'm finished with this, and now I already started the kind of like it was in Sundance Lab, the Butterflies. Then it's now in Cinelink of Sarajevo. It had won an award in Golden Orange Film Festival, Best Pitching Award, the Butterflies, and also it had won an award in Istanbul Film Festival's Meetings on the Bridge. So it has been for a year now. I was also like traveling, but I was preparing. Yeah. Now it's time for me to sit down and start the final battle with the script. But the thing that will stay with me from IV, I don't think anything will stay with me, because like I do like working with the same crew, and for example, my editor was the same. My sound is gonna be the same most probably, and I have sound designer was always the same. So I have this small, I call them gang. For example, the first people that I usually send my script is the editor, and then the sound designer, and then try to get feedback from them, because that is the most valuable feedback for me usually, both because editor is an editor, plus he's a good intellectual that I like talking with him. So it's not the legacy from IV, but it's been like this since Tollbooth, and also for some shorts also. Other than that, it's gone now, and right. I wish it to stay far from now.
Does anybody in the audience want to ask a question? Or, yeah, right here. Just 1 second, please.
Here you go. Hi. So it's been a while since the Polish premiere. I was wondering, how do you look back on how it was received over there? Because it's been a festival favorite.
Please, slower.
I don't know, maybe somebody wants to.
Yes.
So how do you look back on the reception in Poland, and do you think that people maybe don't risk enough when it comes to genre cinema in there? Thank you.
Yes. Because the premiere in Poland was national film festival in Gdynia, it was great, received in Gdynia. Of course, the audience is very often divided when you watch this film. Our distributor promoted our film as a Polish Chicago, so it wasn't Cronenberg stuff. So you can imagine what happened when people came to the cinema and watched not Polish Chicago, but like horror movie, and it was disaster. But the film critics, and we have great reviews, but many, I think it wasn't good that our distributor wanted to promote this as a completely different film, and it's really happened very often in Poland. Then they promote film not like what it is, but what they would like to be. And I think this is what we have to. But they also told that they don't know how to promote it, because in Poland they haven't have such a film when you have a horror movie and musical and mermaids, fish tales, and they ask me, okay, Aga, please don't tell there is about mermaids. What is, it's really crazy. And they ask actors not to tell about there is a mermaids and horror stuff in the movie. And they didn't show the picture with fish tails and with blood scenes. What was really, it was so crazy. And we were really, but yeah, we were depressed with our whole crew, but we knew about it because when they told us just after Gdynia that, oh no, people from cinema, they don't like this film because it's too awkward, too edgy. We want to promote it's stinky, it's like fish stinky. I remember this. And they but for our luck we have Sundance, and after Sundance people from Sundance, they really wanted us to show fish tales and what is inside the film, and it was really helpful for us.
I have a question for all of you. What do you like the most about your job, and what do you hate the most, or in the process maybe?
I can say one thing what I hate: waiting for money, and the process. You don't can put your energy that what is the time.
Yes, I totally agree. If you compare to theater, there's usually that's the premiere date, and then you just work like then, and it will be done. But with film, you can work with few years, and then somebody says, okay, it's not that good, so we are not making it. So you don't get the film done, and you don't get any money. So you lost like few years. Yeah, that's the most. But something nice as well. Maybe do you have something?
Well, I think we all love what we do, so we only say the negative things. But the positive thing is, for me, I can be anywhere whenever I want. For example, NASA spends millions of dollars to take you from this world to take you to another world, and tries to do that, and I can do it only with one ticket money for you. This is what I like about my business, and the thing that I don't like is being classified. And as a filmmaker from Turkey, a filmmaker from Poland, or filmmaker from Finland, I think what we're saying, actually, this generation of filmmakers, I think the label is not there anymore that much. For example, when you think about a Turkish film, I literally heard this about Tollbooth. They told me, one of the festival organizers told me that it was not a Turkish film, which was a dangerous thing to say, seriously. Like, they have a label in their mind, and it should be like this from where we come from, stuff like that. So this is the part that I don't like about what I faced so far in directing. Other than that, exactly, waiting. Especially if you know me, I always move and do stuff energetic, and on the set, I usually go, okay, we are set, and then I hear 5 people shout, no, we are not set. Like, my DOP is shouting, the gaffer is shouting, everyone is so panicking on the set all the time, and I'll say, okay, sound, roll, and everyone's shouting at me, no, we're not ready. So waiting is really killing me on the set. Waiting for the money is really killing, and depending on the co-productions and trying to explain everything to everybody is really killing me, and so these are things that I don't like. But other than that, I'm like a SpongeBob, so happy with what I do, although I don't get paid from it so far.
Thank you very much for conversation. It was really interesting. I want to ask everybody of you talk that you want to change something in your movie when you see the audience reaction or something. I want to ask about the beginning. This is a journey, 1 year, 2 year, 5 years journey. It's really hard. And when you decide that the screenplay is ready, this is a great story, let's go, 5 years, we're going to make this movie. When you understand that's, okay, let's do it, a lot of people will work for us, money will spend, and we going on the boat with the 6 men. When you decide that
whenever someone takes it away from you, seriously, like it doesn't finish. Someone comes and says, "Tolga, we have to apply for this Ministry of Culture fund," then it's finished.
Stop writing, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. It's true. There's no finishing something like this. But I really wanted to make this movie because I was waiting 5 years, and my previous production, that I was waiting, and I could wait maybe more years, and I really wanted to do this. And it was like my producer told me, okay, Aga, you can't write with your script writer. You can't. You have to get the money. And it's always that somebody tells you when you are the director, because you know, when we are working on the script during the shooting also, and it wasn't ready. And for me, it was for me the hardest moment was when we were editing and somebody came, okay, you have to stop. I don't know if you have, yes, and editing is the same. It's like, you know, before the giving birth that you don't want, you know.
Yeah, I agree. We were also, I think the script was like almost complete, but we made the last dialogue in the end of the day of the shooting, that when they meet this real Olli and Raija, so it was very in the last minutes. But yeah, it's just beginning of the shooting when you have to print the final thing. And I've never had, well, this is my first, but I've done shorter ones, but I've never had the feeling that now it's ready. Like now it's just perfect and nothing can be changed.
What we mean is that 90% of the movie is set, but script is set, but most probably you will always work on it, like change a little bit there, change a little bit. That's what I mean by until someone takes it.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for great movies and for doing this, and thank you for coming. Appreciate it.